Making the headlines tonight. Prime Minister Hun Sen says ASEAN has a lot of work to do for a variety of regional issues, not just the ongoing crisis in Myanmar. The ASEAN Secretary General calls the 40th ASEAN Tourism Forum 2022 in Sihanoukville a message to the world about the reopening of tourism in ASEAN. 43-year-old Maltese conservative politician is elected the new president of the European Parliament. Daniil Medvedev, the new favorite to win the Australian Open title in the wake of Novak Djokovic's deportation. And beloved pets enjoy the limelight in Mexico City at a blessing ceremony to mark the feast day of Saint Anthony. This is the Daily Roundup on EAC News Channel. A very good evening to you. I'm Darshana Gochan. Prime Minister Hun Sen, the current ASEAN chair, briefly touched upon the Myanmar-ASEAN situation in 2022, saying that ASEAN has a lot of work to do for a variety of regional issues, not just the ongoing crisis in Myanmar. While speaking at the opening ceremony of the 2022 ASEAN Tourism Forum on Tuesday night in Sihanoukville, Prime Minister Hun Sen noted on the work ASEAN will need to do and focus on for this year, and said that ASEAN 2022 is not just about Myanmar as some have said in the past 3 weeks.
ខ្ញុំសូមបញ្ជាក់ថាកិច្ចការរបស់អាស៊ានឆ្នាំ2022មិនមែនមានតែបញ្ហាមីយ៉ាន់ម៉ាតែមួយនោះទេដោយតែអ្នកទាំងឡាយបាននិយាយយ៉ាងច្រើនក្នុងរយៈពេលប្រមាណជាជិត3អាទិត្យនេះខ្ញុំសូមនិយាយថាយើងមានកិច្ចការជាច្រើនដែលត្រូវធ្វើក្រៅពីរឿងមីយ៉ាន់ម៉ាហើយអាស៊ានមិនមែនជាចំណាប់ខ្មាំងនៃបញ្ហារបស់មីយ៉ាន់ម៉ានោះទេនេះជាការបញ្ជាក់យ៉ាងខ្លីដល់សង្ខេបដើម្បីចង្អុលបង្ហាញទិសទៅលើអ្នកតាមដានសភាពការទាំងឡាយសម្រាប់ការគិតគូររបស់យើងនៅក្នុងក្របខ័ណ្ឌបទ
He stressed that ASEAN's work in 2022 will have to cover and address many different issues, including how to revive tourism in the context of the COVID-19 pandemic. Cambodia took over the rotating chairmanship of ASEAN on 1st January 2022, following in the footsteps of Brunei. After assuming the rotating presidency, Prime Minister Hun Sen traveled to Myanmar on 7th January to seek a ceasefire in the country, provide aid assistance, and open the door for ASEAN special envoys to find a solution for the country's ongoing conflict. Myanmar's military leaders agreed on all these points, and Prime Minister Hun Sen has decided to let the ASEAN foreign ministers continue this work. While speaking at the opening ceremony of the ASEAN Tourism Forum 2022 in Sihanoukville on Tuesday night, Prime Minister Hun Sen said that at present, vaccination is essential to prevent the spread of COVID-19, which many countries mutually recognize as necessary for the re-establishment of socio-economic relations and are moving towards achieving on a wider scale. EAC News reporter Straipor Kong has more.
The Prime Minister further spoke about the importance of reconnecting ASEAN countries to promote people-to-people contact and economic and tourism ties by continuing to promote the fight against COVID-19 while open tourism corridors.
ខ្ញុំចង់ឲ្យអត្ថិភាពនៃកិច្ចការអាស៊ានឆ្នាំ2022នេះគឺការបន្តប្រយុទ្ធប្រឆាំងជាមួយ COVID-19 ជាមួយនឹងការបើកសេដ្ឋកិច្ចសង្គមឡើងវិញនិងរៀបចំច្រករបៀងនៃការធ្វើដំណើរក្នុងក្របខ័ណ្ឌអាស៊ានដែលបញ្ហានេះត្រូវបានលើកជាកំណែផ្លូវដើមដោយប្រទេសឥណ្ឌូនេស៊ីហើយខ្ញុំសង្ឃឹមថារដ្ឋមន្ត្រីទេសចរអាស៊ានរបស់យើងនឹងចូលរួមចំណែកដើម្បីរៀបចំជាច្រករបៀងធ្វើដំណើរសម្រាប់វិស័យទេសចរនៅក្នុងក្របខ័ណ្ឌអាស៊ានរបស់យើងហើយក៏នៅក្នុងក្របខ័ណ្ឌនៃដៃគូរបស់អាស៊ានផងដែរ
Prime Minister Hun Sen met with the ASEAN Secretary General Dato Lim Chok Hui on Monday morning, where he was noted saying that the work ASEAN needs to do this year is to revive the ASEAN economy, prepare for the 20th anniversary of the Declaration on the Conduct of Parties in the South China Sea, the Asia-Pacific Initiative, Timor-Leste membership to ASEAN, and a summit to promote economic recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic, with the participation of international organizations such as World Health Organization, the World Trade Organization, the World Bank, the ASEAN Development Bank, and the International Monetary Fund. Srepo Kong, EAC News.
The ASEAN Secretary-General Dato Lim Chok Hui has said that the opening of the 40th ASEAN Tourism Forum 2022, which Cambodia is hosting in the coastal city of Siem after a 2-year suspension due to the COVID-19 crisis, is a message to the world about the reopening of tourism in ASEAN. Addressing the meeting with Prime Minister Hun Sen before the opening of the ASEAN ministerial meeting on Wednesday morning in Siem, Secretary-General Dato Lim Chok Hui reassured his support of Prime Minister Hun Sen's remarks during the opening ceremony of the ASEAN Tourism Forum on Tuesday night, which stressed the importance of tourism for socio-economic recovery, especially the reconnection of ASEAN member countries. He has underlined that the organization of the ASEAN Tourism Forum by Cambodia is to show the world that ASEAN has reopened its tourism. He added that today's ASEAN Tourism Ministers meeting will approve a number of documents, especially on post-COVID-19 tourism rehabilitation. The minister delegate attached to the Prime Minister, Kao Kim Hoon, reiterated to reporters after this morning's meeting that the Tourism Ministers meeting in Sihanoukville sends a very important message about re-entry into ASEAN, as well as on the reopening of ASEAN tourism. The ASEAN Secretary-General also further stated that he will continue to work towards ensuring that ASEAN can open the tourism corridor in accordance with the recommendations of Prime Minister Hun Sen stated last night. Prime Minister Hun Sen has expressed his pleasure and hope that Cambodia would work together with all relevant partners, both within ASEAN member countries and ASEAN partners, to promote tourism recovery while fighting against COVID-19. Speaking at the opening ceremony of the ASEAN Tourism Forum in Sihanoukville on Tuesday night, Prime Minister Hun Sen highlighted the importance of reconnecting ASEAN to promote people-to-people interaction, economic and tourism ties promoting the fight against COVID-19, and open tourist corridors. 3 cities in Cambodia have been chosen as ASEAN Clean Tourism Cities. The awards for this achievement will be handed out at the ASEAN Tourism Awards ceremony at the 2022 ASEAN Tourism Forum taking place in Sihanoukville. EAC News reporter Chamrong Ritisit has more.
Battambang, Sihanoukville, and Siem Reap has been chosen as ASEAN Clean Tourism Cities of 2022-2024. The announcements of this result by the ASEAN Clean Tourism City Standard confirmed that the award of this winning city will be distributed at the 2022 ASEAN Tourism Forum in Sihanoukville. The ASEAN Tourism Minister will present the ASEAN Clean Tourism City Award to 21 tourist cities in the ASEAN region. The National Committee for Clean City Assessment has been promoting the Clean City competition movement at both the national and ASEAN regional level to contribute to the promotion of smart city in ASEAN. The award ceremony is designed to enhance the attractiveness and competitiveness of ASEAN tourism city, as well as enhance the quality of tourist products and services in ASEAN city in line with the ASEAN Tourism Strategy Plan 2016-2025 to make ASEAN countries attractive destinations for tourism. The competition also promotes better living arrangements for people living in the city in the ASEAN region, as well as effectively participating in sustainable, safe, and environmental-friendly urban development. The ASEAN Clean Tourism City standard has been developed by the Ministry of Tourism of Cambodia and the National Committee for Clean City Assessment since 2011. With the support of ASEAN Tourism Minister, who approved the standard and officially began implementing it at the 2015 ASEAN Tourism Forum. Chambrong Ratisit, EAC News.
The Siem Reap Provincial Administration is planning to hold the Siem Reap Sangkran event for the upcoming Khmer New Year after a 2-year hiatus due to the COVID-19 pandemic. EAC News reporter Sraipor Kong has more details.
Siem Reap Provincial Hall stated during a meeting on Monday that the provincial authorities plan to organize the Siem Reap Songkran event to celebrate the upcoming Khmer New Year, as well as take this opportunity to show pride in the new achievement in Siem Reap province, such as the new 38-lane road infrastructure, and attract domestic and international tourists. The meeting was held under the chairmanship of the governor of Siem Reap, Ha, and a number of important issues were discussed and resolved. The governor also stated that Cambodia has turned the page onto a new era of socio-economic development in all major sectors against the ongoing COVID-19 crisis. As foreseen through the global New Year celebration that recently passed and the further preparation for the upcoming Lunar New Year. The provincial governor added that he hopes Siem Reap will be able to go through the ribbon-cutting ceremony to officially inaugurate the new 38-lane road infrastructure with the presence of Prime Minister Hun Sen in February or March of 2022, so that it will be opened by the event of the Khmer New Year event and attract national and international tourists. Sri Pokong, EAC News.
The Ministry of Posts and Telecommunications has announced the launch of sale of the molnupiravir oral medication under the brand name Molnutris for the treatment of mild to moderate cases of COVID-19 in adults at all branches of Cambodia Post in capitals and provinces from Wednesday, 19th January 2022. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has more details.
In a statement issued by the Ministry of Posts and Telecommunications on Tuesday, Molnutris has been distributed for the treatment of COVID-19 at the Office of the Ministry of Posts and Telecommunications to further prevent the spread of COVID-19 in a timely manner and to contribute to help build strong community immunity against the virus. The statement added that the convenience of the public living in the provinces, the ministry has increased the distribution of Molnutris of branches of the Cambodian Post based in the provinces. The medicine will be sold at US $55 per dose, with one dose equal to 40 capsules, from Wednesday, 19th of January onwards to private hospitals, clinics, pharmaceuticals, sub-pharmaceuticals and the public. Each person will be permitted to order 5 to 10 doses at a time. Private hospitals, clinics, pharmaceuticals and sub-pharmaceuticals with official business licenses are also eligible to order 10 to 200 doses of Molnutris at a time and can resell the drug for no more than US $65 per dose. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
Cambodia has reported 30 new COVID-19 cases today, Tuesday, 19th January. This includes 7 imported cases. There have been 17 patient recoveries and once again, no new deaths. The total number of local Omicron cases has risen to 103, including 23 new cases today. Cambodia's COVID-19 case tally has now climbed to 120,877. The death toll stands at 3,015. The number of patients treated successfully since the pandemic began in Cambodia has reached 117,146. And the total tally for imported cases has climbed to 20,190. Healthcare workers are currently treating a total of 683 patients. Maltese conservative politician Roberta Metsola is the new president of the European Parliament. While many praise the 43-year-old as a bridge builder, others criticize her anti-abortion stance.
Roberta Metsola has always made it clear that, for her, the European Union is not a complex bureaucratic institution, but rather a real passion. It's not a bloc that is rattled by crisis. Instead, a place to foster European values and enthusiasm for a project that emerged from the ashes of the World War II. Now, the conservative politician from Malta has to prove she can turn her words into action. On Tuesday, Roberta Metsola was elected President of the European Parliament, the same day that she has turned 43. Although Metsola's election may be a welcome birthday gift for the Maltese lawmaker, it did not come as a surprise. In a common agreement, the three biggest European parliamentary groups, the Conservative European People's Party, the Socialists and Democrats, and the Liberal Renew Group, had decided that a conservative representative would take over the post at midterm. Metsola's Malta's Nationalist Party is part of the center-right EPP group, seemed to be the obvious choice as she is respected across party lines and known as a bridge builder. David Casa, a party colleague of Metsola's and fellow member of the European Parliament, summed it up. We are all used to division and crisis, and Roberta's rise in popularity prove that it's still possible to conduct politics through consensus. The Maltese politician is only the third woman at the head of the European Parliament, following in the footsteps of her French predecessors Simone Veil and Nicole Fontaine. The European Parliament is the European Union's lawmaking body, representing the bloc's 450 million citizens. It is directly elected by European Union voters every 5 years. Metsola has failed to get elected twice. She is no stranger to failure. Metsola only managed to get elected to the European Parliament in 2013 after failing twice. Since then, she's seen a swift rise. In 2020, she moved on to become one of the European Union Parliament's first vice presidents. As a member of the Committee on Civil Liberties, Justice and Home Affairs, she has defended the right to asylum in the European Union. Following the murder of her countrywoman, journalist Daphne Caruana Galizia, Metsola has been calling on the Maltese government to ensure media freedom and fight corruption. Maltese member of European Parliament David Casa, who called Metsola one of his closest friends, has said, "It was her determination and ambition that made her stand out." Both Metsola and Casa had campaigned for Malta to join the European Union in 2004. Metsola has repeatedly said it was this goal that sparked her political activism. Many European Union lawmakers have rooted for her on Tuesday. Fellow conservative parliamentarian Stelios Kemporopoulos from Greece has described her as bold enough to be the face of an extroverted and strong parliament. As the European Parliament often struggles to be on par with the European Union's other institutions, the European Council and the European Commission, boldness is certainly a trait that could help push through the Parliament's interests.
French far-right presidential candidate Eric Zemmour was fined €10,000, equivalent to $11,400, on Monday for inciting racial hatred over remarks in which he has called young migrants killers, thieves, and rapists.
Zemmour, a former political commentator, is competing with the more established far-right candidate Marine Le Pen and conservative Valérie Pécresse to challenge centre-right President Emmanuel Macron in April's presidential election. The court case concerned remarks he made on right-wing channel C News in 2020 about migrants who arrive as unaccompanied children. They've got no reason for being here. They are thieves. They are killers. They are rapists. That's all they do. They should be sent back, he has said. For several weeks last year, opinion polls have indicated that Zemmour, who also has previous conviction for inciting racial hatred, had a chance of placing second in the presidential poll and facing Macron in a runoff. His campaign has seen lost some steam and he now polled fourth. Zemmour has said he would appeal the ruling. He stood by his 2020 comments, adding that the court was condemning him for expressing his views. A senior C News representative was also handed a fine over Zemmour's comment, lawyers have said.
Former Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko is back in a Kiev court Wednesday as a judge considers whether to grant him bail or order his arrest in a treason case he says is politically motivated. Poroshenko, who led Ukraine from 2014 to 19, has returned to the country on Monday to face the charges and told supporters at the airport that he had come back to help Ukraine face the growing threat of Russian invasion. Ukraine's former president, Petro Poroshenko, has landed in Kiev on Monday, 17th January, to face treason charges in a criminal case he says was ramped up by allies of his successor, President Volodymyr Zelensky. He added to that message in a series of tweets on Tuesday, saying with the help of its international partners, Ukraine will stand our ground. In a brief standoff at border control, he accused the border guards of taking away his passport. He later emerged to a crowd of flag-waving supporters outside the airport. At a separate briefing, Ukrainian investigators have said that they have tried to serve a subpoena to Poroshenko, who refused to take the documents. Prosecutors have accused Poroshenko of treason for allegedly using illegal coal sales to finance Russian-backed separatists from 2014 to 2015. If convicted, he could face 15 years in prison. He was in court Monday for a hearing that ran nearly 12 hours, with the court deferring the decision to grant Poroshenko bail or order his arrest until Wednesday. Prosecutors have requested bail be set at $35 million. Poroshenko's return comes as Ukraine faces a tense standoff with neighboring Russia. Tens of thousands of Russian troops have amassed near the border with Ukraine, prompting the United States to express concern that Russian President Vladimir Putin might be planning an invasion. Poroshenko came to power in 2014 after street protests ousted the then-president Viktor Yanukovych. He is credited with strengthening Ukraine's army after Russia annexed Crimea and backed separatist fighters in eastern Ukraine. Poroshenko, however, lost elections in 2019 following a corruption scandal and charges that he had not done enough to implement political reform. Poroshenko owns a confectionery empire and is often called Ukraine's chocolate king. Forbes magazine estimates his fortune is at $1.6 billion. Now for a look at news-making international headlines this Wednesday, 19th January.
Russian soldiers took part in tactical exercises in the Rostov region near the Ukrainian border on Monday, 17th of January. They have conducted exercises on engineering exploration, fortification, and mining in Kamensk-Shakhtinsky. Russia has perturbed the West by building up troops near Ukraine and demanded that Washington pledge not to let Ukraine join NATO or expand the military alliance eastward, a stipulation that the United States refuses to accept. Washington has urged Moscow to reverse its build-up of an estimated 100,000 troops near the border with Ukraine, which has prompted Ukrainian and Western concerns about a possible new invasion 8 years after Russia seized Crimea from Ukraine. Talks between Moscow and United States have produced no breakthrough so far.
Golden sands have turned black in Peru on Sunday after an oil spill affected kilometers of shoreline, with the blaming of the recent explosion near the Tonga for the spill. Peru's environmental minister, Ruben Ramirez, has said that the oil spill has come while the ship was supplying La Pampilla refinery, affecting at least 2 kilometers of the country's central coast of Ventanilla. The Peruvian Agency of Environment Assessment and Enforcement has said it has initiated an investigation to determine its responsibility, but some are blaming the recent high tides of the spill. The high tides have triggered the recent volcanic explosion near Tonga have been felt as far away as Peru. High tides spread across the Pacific after the Hunga Ha'apai volcano has erupted on Saturday, triggering a tsunami warning the shores of Tonga.
Thousands of protesters against military rule in Sudan have marched towards the presidential palace in the capital Khartoum again on Monday, 17th January, drawing volleys of tear gas from security forces. The protesters, who gathered some 2 kilometers from the palace, blocked a main road in the Al-Diyum neighborhood and burned tires before starting their march. Huge crowds have regularly taken to the streets, demanding a return to civilian rule since the military coup on 25th November ended a power-sharing arrangement that began after Islamist autocrat Omar al-Bashir fell to a popular uprising in 2019. Military leaders have said their coup saved Sudan from chaos and that they will protect people's rights to peaceful protest. They reinstated Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok in an attempt to safeguard reforms, but he resigned earlier this month. Medics aligned with the protest movement say at least 63 people have died in clashes with security forces. A protester and a police officer were killed during demonstrations on Thursday, 13th January. After the break, a look at all the latest sports news.
EAC News' audience is growing. Our YouTube channel has over 150,000 verified subscribers. To mark the milestone, we've received the Silver Creator Award from YouTube. It's given to channels with over 100,000 subscribers. YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki says the award celebrates EAC News' hard work and incredible achievement. She says we brought a unique voice and style to the world, but have also created valuable connections and built a community along the way. The next milestone we're going for is 1 million subscribers, and we'd really like that Gold Creator Award. So if you're not already a subscriber, head to YouTube and search for EAC News. Subscribers get alerts when the daily Roundup is premiering and live events are streaming. Get all the latest breaking news and updates from Cambodia in English. The EAC News channel on YouTube. Cambodia made clear. If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of our platforms and channels. The EAC News app, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eacnews.asia. Join me, Andrew Barnes-Roberts, and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear.
The Chinese Basketball Association president Yao Ming says the upcoming Beijing Winter Olympics will be a grand gathering for global athletes to enjoy themselves and make friends during a forum with Chinese and foreign journalists in Beijing.
The Olympic Games is not only about the sports, it's about different cultures, different people from all over the world gather together in one place. So it's all about friendship. According to the president of Chinese Basketball Association, Yao Ming, who played for the Shanghai Sharks of the Chinese Basketball Association in the Houston Rockets of the National Basketball Association, the primary purpose of the upcoming Winter Olympics is a grand gathering for global athletes to have fun. For every Olympian, no matter where he or she comes from, the participation itself is a very exciting experience in life, and winning the medal is an additional gain. Yao, who is also a winter sports promotion ambassador for Beijing 2022, has started the forum with his trademark sense of humor. "I want to skate, but I'm having a hard time finding gear that fits me," quipped Yao, who stands 2.26 meters tall or towering 7.4 feet. A Shanghai native, Yao didn't see much snow or ice during his childhood. However, the Chinese basketball legend was a presenter during Beijing's bid for the 2022 Games in 2015. Honored but hesitating at the invitation, he has recalled how he was inspired to assume the role by China's Olympic journey, with the country sending its first athlete in 1932, winning its first Olympic gold medal in 1984, and hosting the 2008 Olympics. Yao Ming has said the past 14 years has seen not only changes in his identities, but also the development of the sports industry and the whole society's attitudes towards sports through the holding of the Olympic Games. Discussing the preparation for the Winter Olympics, Yao has said that all preparatory work has been well organized despite the lingering threat of COVID-19. The 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics Games coincide with the Chinese New Year. Being the promotion ambassador for the Winter Olympics, Yao said the coming Winter Games will be an exciting occasion shared by athletes and spectators from all over the world. The Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics will kick off on February 4, the 5th day of the week-long Spring Festival holiday.
And now for a look at how the weather will be playing out tomorrow. And finally, beloved pets have enjoyed the limelight in Mexico City on Monday, 17th January, at a blessing ceremony to mark the feast day of Saint Anthony, known as the protector of animals. Pet owners have arrived with their beloved animals for a blessing and a sprinkling of holy water to protect them from danger and misfortune. Dogs and parrots were taken to be blessed, as well as 2 roosters. January 17th marks the anniversary of the death of Saint Anthony the Abbot, a 4th century Christian who gave his inheritance to the poor and led a monastic life in the desert with only animals for company. The old-age Catholic tradition was brought to Mexico during Spanish colonial rule by Franciscan monks in the 1500s and has been heartily embraced by animal lovers in Mexico City's southern borough of Xochimilco due to the prominence of farmhouses in the area. Saint Anthony the Abbot was born in Egypt on the banks of the River Nile to a Christian family and is believed to have lost both his parents, who were very wealthy, at an early age. He then chose to reject the life of luxury his heritage afforded him, giving his riches away to the poor in order to pursue a solitary life of spiritual enlightenment in the company of animals. Thank you for watching the Daily Roundup on EAC News Channel. For more breaking news and updates, you can check out our website eacnews.asia or search EAC News on Telegram or at your favorite app store. More from the EAC News team tomorrow night at 8 p.m. We will see you then.